Good to have you with us on this edition of the Urban Debate. Let's begin by talking about Bihar and the election agenda this time. Because usually when it comes to polls in states like Bihar, there is a lot of talk about corruption. There's a lot of talk about law and order, jungle raj in states like Bihar. And of course, caste-based politics dominates the conversation, dominates even the campaigning. But something seems to be a little different this time. There is, thankfully, a lot more conversation about unemployment. Political parties have made the promises about employment, about creating jobs in their manifesto. And I see that as a heartening sign. Of course, it depends on how much they're able to translate post-election. But it does look like unemployment and creation of jobs has become one of the key talking points. Is it issue number one? This election season in Bihar is the big question and I'm asking tonight. Let's keep in mind that Bihar is one of the states that sees over 15 lakh people move to other states in search of jobs. Though that's the number of migrants the Bihar has who leave the state in search of jobs and go to other places. The lockdown has only added to the woes. Weeks and months of unemployment has only added to the woes. And RJD Tejashwi Yadav knows this very well. He's repeatedly spoken about unemployment. He's repeatedly emphasized on his promise of 10 lakh jobs, at which JDU and BJP have simply dismissed it. They have in fact questioned it, mocked it and saying, how are you going to create these jobs? So now that the Netas are willing to talk about it, now that the Netas want unemployment to be one of the key issues, let's ask them what is going to be their plan if they are chosen to power to resolve this crisis. How will the next Sarkar in Bihar create more jobs for the Biharis in that state? Before we go across to our panelists, our reporter Ayushman has been in Bihar for many days now and he's been getting us reports from various aspects. In his own conversations, especially with the youngsters of the state, he's also found this to be one of their key issues. Take a look at this detailed report that Ayushman got.
क्या पढ़ रहे हैं यार?
एनटीपीसी का फॉर्म भरा गया 2 साल हो गया अभी तक पढ़
अच्छा।
एग्जाम का कोई भरोसा नहीं कब होगा जो।
अच्छा, कितने साल से तैयारी कर रहे हैं?
हम तो 3-4 साल पिछले 2 साल से तो मतलब कंटिन्यू तैयारी कर रहे हैं एनटीपीसी का।
हाँ।
जब से फॉर्म भराया है
हाँ।
हम लोग ऐसा ही मतलब डेली कर रहे हैं। मामला बहुत फंसा हुआ है, अब कब होगा हम लोग का भरोसा उठ गया सरकार पर।
अभी कितने साल बचे हैं आपके सरकारी नौकरी के लिए?
अब तो मेरा 30 हो गया है।
30 हो गया, अब ज़्यादा उम्र बची नहीं है।
हम बहुत चीज़ में सिलेक्ट हुए और उसके बाद मतलब हम छट चुके हैं।
As we enter Patna city, signages put up by coaching institutes promising government jobs is a common sight. While the state government pushes for entrepreneurship skills and Atmanirbhar Bihar, the youth feel helpless.
ये हम लोग का ये कोई इशू नहीं है कि सरकारी नौकरी ही हो, ठीक है। प्राइवेट का ऑप्शन मिले तब तो। यहाँ तो बिहार में कोई प्राइवेट का ऑप्शन है ही नहीं। कोई भी गवर्नमेंट का जो प्लान है सक्सेसफुल बिहार में नहीं है। इंडस्ट्री लगे यहाँ, प्राइवेट जॉब का थोड़ा सा एरिया लार्ज हो, तब तो यूथ उधर भी मूवमेंट करे, लेकिन उधर कोई ऑप्शन है ही नहीं।
2 days before, one of my junior from PG hostel committed suicide due to insecurity of job. So this is the big question in front of the government.
Hence, they feel the safest bet is to bag a government job. Demand for guides to competitive exams at Patna bookshops tells the story.
बिहार में कोई इंडस्ट्री नहीं है और यहाँ के गार्जियन ये जानते हैं, उन महसूस करते हैं कि बच्चे को पढ़ा रहे हैं तो गवर्नमेंट जॉब ही उसको सुरक्षा दे सकता है।
For Ajit, Rahul and Rajesh, 3 boys who live together, last 6 years have been a story of struggle and peer pressure to secure a government job.
मुश्किल तो बहुत है, लेकिन तैयारी तो करना पड़ेगा क्योंकि सरकारी नौकरी ही चाहिए। घर वाला का भी ख्वाहिश है, अपना भी ख्वाहिश है कि नहीं।
दबाव तो रहती है। मेरे से जैसे छोटा भाई है तो रेलवे में जॉब करता है। हमारे ऊपर और ज़्यादा दबाव है।
यहाँ का जो कल्चर है ना वो सरकारी नौकरी की तरफ समझिए कि ढकेल देता है। समाज भी जो भी है सब कोई सरकारी नौकरी को ही नौकरी मानता है, प्राइवेट नौकरी को नौकरी नहीं बोला जाता है। सरकारी नौकरी में बोलता है कि सुरक्षा है, ठीक है ना, और शादी वगैरह भी सरकारी नौकरी वाले से ही ज़्यादा लोग पसंद करते हैं करने के लिए। घर वाले का प्रेशर रहता है, सबसे ज़्यादा तो समाज का प्रेशर रहता है। हमारे बगल वाले पड़ोसी IAS बन चुके हैं तो घर वाला चाहता है कि आप भी IAS बनिए।
Even as the vacancies in the public sector continue to decline year after year, most of the young generation in Bihar aspires of a sarkari naukri, and this is their dream job. They work very hard for it for years together to get a sarkari naukri. In this election, will this be an agenda? Will the political parties listen to their plight? That remains a bigger question. With video journalist Mohan Singh, Ayushman for Mirror Now.
The fact that unemployment in Bihar is much higher than the country's average is not really surprising. But if you look at the recent data, as per CMI, in the last few months, and I'm discounting the lockdown months where 15 lakh migrants reportedly returned back home. If I discount that and talk about now, and many of them have returned to these other states, even then the unemployment in Bihar is almost double of what the national average is. Clearly, the situation is grave. And clearly now people are running out of patience. They want their sarkar, their state, to be able to provide them opportunities in the state and hopefully beyond the government jobs. So let's ask the parties, what's their plan? Let's say good evening to the panelists who are joining us right now. Anshul Avjit, National Spokesperson for the Congress Party. Mr. Sudesh Verma, Spokesperson for the BJP. Rajiv Ranjan, Spokesperson for Janata Dal United. Sarika Kumari, spokesperson for RJD, and Professor Naval Kishore Chaudhary, political analyst, also joining us this evening. Let me actually go across to Sarika Kumari first. Sarika ji, सबसे बड़ा प्रॉमिस जो RJD का है वो 10 लाख जॉब्स का है, पर सवाल ये उठता है, the question is, where will you create these jobs? How will you create these jobs?
नहीं, इसे कोई क्रिएट करने का प्रश्न ही नहीं है। ऑलरेडी हमने कई बार बोला है, हर सभाओं में बोल रहे हैं हमारे नेता तेजस्वी यादव जी कि 4.5 लाख नौकरियां तो ऑलरेडी बिहार गवर्नमेंट के पास है, जो एक सिग्नेचर के साथ वो दी जा सकती है। रेस्ट जो 5.5 लाख और जो नौकरियों की बात हो रही है, उसके लिए भी उन्होंने क्लियर किया है कि राष्ट्रीय जो औसत मानकों के हिसाब से जो उनको पूरा करते हुए जो नौकरियां हैं वो सृजन होंगी, वो होंगी लाइक वो 5.5 लाख, यानी कि इन टोटल देयर इज अ 10 lakhs वैकेंसीज स्टिल। तो वो 10 लाख हैं जो अभी आप एकदम पहले ही तेजस्वी यादव जी ने अभी भी प्रॉमिस किया है कि वो 10 लाख की नौकरियां तो वो पहले ही कैबिनेट के सिग्नेचर के साथ ही वो लोगों को देने वाले हैं। सो ये क्वेश्चन ऐसा नहीं है जो कहीं बाहर से लाना है, ये ऑलरेडी है। उसमें बहुत इनफैक्ट हर डिपार्टमेंट में लाइक मेडिकल स्टाफ एज अ डॉक्टर, इंजीनियर्स, टीचर, प्रोफेसर, सपोर्टिंग जो स्टाफ हैं उनकी भी, प्यून, मतलब देयर आर लॉट ऑफ वैकेंसीज। मतलब जितने भी सपोर्टिव अगर आप वैकेंसीज को भी ले ले तो वो मिला जुला करके अभी 4.5 लाख है वो बिहार गवर्नमेंट के पास है, जो उसे तो देनी ही देनी है। इसके अलावा भी हमने वो बताया है कि 5.5 लाख हम कैसे दे रहे हैं।
Okay, so let me in fact go across to then Mr. Rajiv Ranjan. Mr. Rajiv Ranjan, if there are 10 lakh jobs already available, vacant posts available, then why is it that your government has not been able to provide these employment opportunities?
देखिए, ये पूरी तरह से गलत तथ्यों के आधार पर ये आकलन है और कुछ आसमानी वायदे लोगों को सपने दिखा करके सत्ता में किसी तरह से पहुंचने की कोशिश है। लेकिन नीतीश कुमार जी और बाकी राजनेताओं का फर्क ये है कि 1905 में अगर उन्होंने कहा कि हम कानून का शासन लाएंगे, उन्होंने लाने का काम किया। 2012 में हर गांव को बिजली पहुंचाएंगे, नहीं तो चुनाव में वोट मांगने नहीं जाएंगे, वो उन्होंने करके दिखाया। 2015 में 7 निश्चय की बात की और हर घर तक पक्की गली, पक्की नाली बनाने का उन्होंने वादा किया। आज लोगों को ड्रिंकिंग वाटर घरों में मिलने लगा। अब रोजगार का सवाल है। हम जो 7 निश्चय पार्ट 2 है उसमें 2 गेम चेंजर्स हैं। पहला है मेगा स्किल सेंटर्स, जॉब मार्केट पूरी दुनिया में बहुत बड़ा है, उनको पूरी तरह से तैयार करना है बिहार देश के अलग राज्यों में और दुनिया के अलग अलग मुल्कों में अगर हम उनको पूरी तरह से तैयार करके भेजेंगे तो निसंदेह नौकरियों के असीमित अवसर मिलेंगे। दूसरी तरफ एग्रीकल्चर को लेकर के कुछ बड़े फैसले हैं। 3 एग्रीकल्चर रोड मैप के जरिए वो बुनियाद डाली जा चुकी है और एग्रीकल्चर कैबिनेट बिहार ने देश में पहली बार बनाया। 17 मिनिस्ट्रीज को मिला करके प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरीज और मिनिस्टर्स को एक ऑफिशियल मेंबर बनाया गया और पूरी तरह से बिहार में एग्रो बेस्ड इंडस्ट्रीज और तमाम चीजों पर चर्चा हुई। अब हर खेत को पानी और एग्रीकल्चर के लिए डेडिकेटेड फीडर 65 पैसे प्रति यूनिट किसानों को बिकी। इससे केवल किसानों की जिंदगी नहीं बदलेगी, एग्रो बेस्ड इंडस्ट्रीज बड़े नंबर में बिहार में खुलेंगे, इसलिए कि बिहार के पास लीची, कतरनी चावल और कई ऐसी चीजें हैं जहां हम फूड प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट से लेकर के तमाम चीजों को कर पाएंगे। ये केवल कामगारों के लिए नहीं होंगे, इसमें हाईली प्रोफेशनल जो बड़ी क्वालिफिकेशन के साथ आएंगे, इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी, HR, और वो सबको इस रोड मैप के जरिए रोजगार की मुख्य धारा से जोड़ा जाएगा। बिहार को 10 लाख का सवाल नहीं है, आज 30 वर्ष से कम आयु के नौजवान 2 करोड़ की संख्या में है और इसीलिए ये बेहद महत्वाकांक्षी और जमीन पर संसाधनों के आधार पर तय किया जाने वाला निश्चय है। और इसी के लिए नीतीश कुमार जी जाने जाते हैं कि वो जब भी कहते हैं उन वायदों को कभी नहीं करते हैं जो नहीं कर पाए, वो करते हैं और करके दिखाते हैं। शराबबंदी उन्होंने एक सभा में महिलाओं से वायदा किया था और उसको पूरा करके उन्होंने दिखाया। ऐसे अनेक उदाहरण हैं। जब भी कोई बात कही है उसको पूरा किया और इस बार सत्ता में अगर आने का आशीर्वाद जनता देती है, जिसके पूरे तरह से वातावरण बनते दिख रहे हैं, तो हम ये कह सकते हैं कि बिहार को विकास, ऐसा विकास जिसमें रोजगार, खेतों में फसलें लहलहाए और चिमनियों से धुआं निकले, ऐसा बिहार लेकर के आने का हमारा संकल्प है।
आई जस्ट वॉन्ट टू हाईलाइट, ये आपके जो संकल्प है उसके साथ ही साथ कि अभी क्यों ज़्यादा ये बात बढ़ चुकी है और इसके बारे में इतनी चर्चा हो रही है। अगर हम मनरेगा की वेबसाइट देखें तो उसमें जो बिहार का डेटा है, ओनली अबाउट 5090 फैमिलीज got 100 days of work in comparison to 33,000 households in Madhya Pradesh, 27,000 households in Rajasthan who completed 100 days of work till August 31. And in fact, 18% households did not even manage any jobs. Now, that's not to say that the state failed in utilizing the funds that were given. In fact, Bihar did manage to use about 91% of the allocated funds under the Manrega scheme that was given during this period. Yet, there is obviously a bigger demand. There is obviously a larger problem. हम पिछले साल से अभी तक अगर देखें तो जहाँ पिछले साल अक्टूबर 2019 में नेशन वाइड अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट रेट 8.1% था, वही बिहार का अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट रेट 12.7% था. That's how much higher it was than rest of India. That actually worsened obviously when the lockdown hit us. So in April 2020, while all India unemployment rate shot up to 23.5%, it was 46.6% for the state of Bihar. It's now come down again, but still for September 2020, 6.7% for all India, while Bihar still stands at almost 12%, 11.9%. Is that why, Professor Naval Kishore Chaudhary, this has become a big talking point, even in the rallies? We are actually hearing about this so much now.
Yes, it's an issue. And if you look at educated unemployment, situation is worse. Nitish Kumar government is in power for the last 15 years. Employment had not been a priority area. Employment potential is to be located in government sector, located in agriculture sector, industry sector, and tertiary sector. If you look at the GDP composition, you will find that about 60% of the GDP, gross domestic product of Bihar, comes from service sector. Industry sector is stagnating. Secondary sector is stagnating. There is not much scope for employment generation in agriculture. Now it's a well documented that in the primary sector, which is largely in agriculture sector, and I must tell you that 89% of Bihar population live in rural areas and 76% directly on agriculture. Primary sector, which is largely agricultural sector, has surplus manpower. In economics, we have the concept of disguised unemployment, which means you have more worker than what is really required. If you withdraw that portion of worker, the total production doesn't diminish. So the marginal productivity of labor in agriculture is either very low, if not negative. Now the real scope is in the secondary sector. What has been the fate of secondary sector in Bihar for the last 15 years? I know that economic development was never a priority area of Lalu Rabri regime. Laluji used to say that economic development is not my agenda. But whatever Nitish government, which came on the plank of good governance and economic development, what happened to the secondary sector, which is the real sector, which generates employment? Now, the Bihar had predominant position in sugar industry. I must tell you, in 1920, at the time of first Indian Sugarcane Committee, McKenna Committee report, about 50% sugar mills were located in Bihar. What happened to that sugar industry? What happened to jute industry? What happened to the other? In spite of global summit, which Nitish Kumar ji very kindly organized, what happened to the investment in Bihar? And the real trouble, I can quote studies, Picky report, which says that the question is that most of the nationalists feel that it is, in spite of the promises made, in spite of some positive changes in national policy regime, now the real trouble is the official dump. There is no political determination for industrialization. The Honorable Chief Minister, for whom I have personally respect, doesn't find time to visit industry associations. I am associated with these industries associations as a special invitee. I am a professor of economics also, in addition to being a political analyst. Now, no importance is given to industrialization. How can you generate employment without industrialization in Bihar? And what is worse, Tanviji, I must tell you that in the government sector, and just give me 30 seconds, in the government sector, talk of education sector, I come from Patna University, where I was a professor and head of economics department. I know for certain that more than 50% posts of teachers are vacant. Same is true of most of the universities. Same is true of schools. There are schools without teachers. There are colleges without teachers. There are departments without teachers. Now, even where you had a scope, you didn't fill up the vacancy. Now, on the eve of election, you have asked the University Service Commission to appoint. Now, young graduates or young postgraduates are waiting for years to get employment, even if there are vacancies lying and students are at
So,
risk.
Professor Chaudhary, let me take some of the points that you've made. Yes, Professor Chaudhary, let me take some of the points that you've made and the data that you've quoted and take it back to Rajiv Ranjan before I go across to Anshul and Sudesh, because Rajiv Ranjan ji has to respond to this. Now, the lack of industrialization, the lack of factories, it cannot even be blamed on anybody else. Rajiv Ranjan ji, 15 साल तो आपकी सरकार थी, फिर भी ये बदलाव नहीं हो पाया, क्यों ऐसा?
बदलाव वो कॉमरेड नवल किशोर चौधरी जी को शायद नहीं दिखा। एक काफी अच्छे इकोनॉमिस्ट हैं, मैं उनका सम्मान करता हूं, लेकिन जो उनका नजरिया है, जो उनका पर्सपेक्टिव है, जो लेफ्ट ओरिएंटेशन उनका है, कई चीजों को देखने का उनका तरीका बिल्कुल दूसरा है। उन्हें बदलाव बिहार में बिल्कुल नहीं दिखा, उन्हें सड़कें नहीं दिखी, बिजली नहीं दिखा, उन्हें बिहार में महिलाओं का एम्पावरमेंट नहीं दिखा, मुझे लगता है ये सारे सवाल किसी राज्य के बेहतर तस्वीर को बयान करते हैं। अब नीतीश कुमार जी को दो चीजें, चूंकि वो एक इकोनॉमिस्ट हैं, वो बिहार का जो अतीत है वो भी जानते हैं। आजाद हिंदुस्तान में स्टेट इक्वलाइजेशन के जरिए 1953 में उस समय के फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर टीटीके कृष्णमाचारी ने बिहार को नुकसान कैसे पहुंचाया ये देखिए। उन्होंने स्टेट इक्वलाइजेशन का जो फैसला लिया, उस फैसले से बिहार के माइंस एंड मिनरल्स रहने के बावजूद जो इंडस्ट्रीज लग सकते थे, इससे कि यहाँ कई बड़े जेआरडी, टाटा और तमाम घराने बिहार में पहले आ चुके हैं, लेकिन उसके बाद उद्योग धंधे से नहीं लगे कि माइंस एंड मिनरल्स सब्सिडाइज रेट पर उनको नॉर्दर्न इंडिया और वेस्टर्न इंडिया में मिल सकता है, तो वो बिहार क्यों आएंगे। और उसके बाद 15 वर्षों का लालू जी का शासन, हर 5 ईयर प्लान में जो पर कैपिटा डेवलपमेंट का जो पैसा था, उसका अगर आप देखेंगे, कंपैरेटिव स्टैटिस्टिक्स अगर देखेंगे, तो बिहार बराबर लोएस्ट रहा है। स्टेट के तौर पर बिहार को ट्रीट करेंगे। दूसरी बड़ी आबादी है, आबादी में
नहीं, वो तो सही है, उसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है। बट राजीव रंजन जी, उसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है, पर मैं तो अभी नीतीश जी के 15 साल की बात कर रही हूँ। मैं आपके ही इकोनॉमिक सर्वे को कोट कर देती हूँ। आप नजरिए की बात मत करिए, आप आंकड़ों की बात कर रही है। आप यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट ए व्यू पॉइंट और एन ओपिनियन। आई एम सिंपली कोटिंग स्टैटिस्टिक्स फ्रॉम द बिहार इकोनॉमिक सर्वे, मिस्टर राजीव रंजन। Bihar has just 1.5% of the total operational factories in India, just 0.8% of the national average employed in industries. 15 साल आपके पास समय था ये आंकड़े बदलने का।
देखिए, अब बिहार के पास बेहतर लॉ एंड ऑर्डर है, सड़कों की कनेक्टिविटी बेहतर है और एनर्जी सेक्टर में हमने शानदार काम किया है। अब जो एग्रीकल्चर को लेकर के बड़े फैसले हैं, 3 एग्रीकल्चर रोडमैप के बाद किसानों की जिंदगी बदल गई है बिहार में। यहाँ बैंक के कर्जे पर लोग निर्भर नहीं है। इसे ऋण माफी जैसे नारे अगर अंशुल जी की पार्टी लेकर आएगी, यहाँ किसानों पर कोई असर नहीं होगा। या इनपुट सब्सिडी, तमाम चीजें। और अब मैंने कहा, एग्रीकल्चर एक ऐसा सेक्टर है जहां करोड़ों लोग हैं और 89% ऑफिशियल स्टैटिस्टिक्स है कि बिहार का की निर्भरता है, और जीडीपी में उनका योगदान अभी 20% केवल है। तो निसंदेह वहां संभावनाएं बहुत ज्यादा है। वहां रोजगार, हर तरह के रोजगार सृजित होंगे और मेगा स्किल सेंटर पूरी तरह से तस्वीर बदल देंगे। इसलिए कि अगर आप देखें तो हम एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप को लेकर के जो ईमानदार कोशिश कर रहे हैं, हम ब्याज मुक्त उनको कर्ज दे रहे हैं, उनको हम सब्सिडी दे रहे हैं, महिलाएं हो पुरुष हो 10 लाख रुपए तक का लोन उन तमाम को हम दे रहे हैं। और अभी जो इनोवेशन को लेकर के नेशनल इंडेक्स है, स्टार्टअप्स में बिहार पहले नंबर पर है। तो फाउंडेशन निश्चित तौर पर बिहार में डालना बहुत आसान काम नहीं था। इतिहास इसकी इजाजत नहीं देता था और बार बार चर्चा इसलिए करनी पड़ती है कि आप कभी बिहार की तुलना गुजरात या कर्नाटक या दिल्ली या मुंबई से नहीं कर सकती हैं। इससे कि जो कुछ मिला था वो बेहद, आज भी क्रेडिट डिपॉजिट रेशियो बिहार से जो पैसे जाते हैं नेशनलाइज्ड और शेड्यूल्ड बैंक को, उनका एक बड़ा हिस्सा देश के दूसरे मुल्कों में लगता है। और बैंक आज भी बिहार को लेकर के बहुत ही मतलब कंजर्वेटिव उनका रवैया होता है। और इसलिए ये पूरा परसेप्शन बदलना चाहिए। ये बिहार, नीतीश कुमार जी ने चेहरा बदला है, लेकिन जो लोग बिहार की छवि कभी अनावश्यक आरोपों प्रत्यारोपों के जरिए धूमिल करते हैं, वो बिहार का हित करते हैं। ये सवाल बिहारी सबनेशनलिज्म का है।
बिहारी प्राइड तो तभी आ जाएगी जब स्टेट का डेवलपमेंट होगा, ऑल एनकम्पासिंग डेवलपमेंट होगा और बिहारी को बिहार में ही नौकरी मिलेगी, वहीं पे वो पढ़े, वहीं पे वो काम कर सके। प्राइड ऑटोमेटिकली आएगी, उनको धक्के खा के दूसरी स्टेट्स जब ना जाना पड़े। सो हियर इज द क्वेश्चन, एंड अंशुल अवजी टू यू फर्स्ट एंड देन वी गो अक्रॉस टू सुदेश वर्मा। The plan cannot just be limited to filling up the vacant posts. How is your alliance going to create more jobs, stop these youngsters from leaving the state and going to other states in search of jobs?
Well, Tanvi, I was earlier on in Muzaffarpur, earlier on the day where the Congress released its manifesto today, and here it is. It's right there in front of me. And what it does is endorses many of the claims that were made by RJD about the future of Bihar. I mean, the promises that were made, that is about 10 lakh jobs. Now, I just, before I come to this point, I want to say something to my honorable counterpart in the JDU, माननीय प्रवक्ता राजीव रंजन जी ने कुछ बातें कही, मैं जवाब देना चाहता हूं. एक तो पहली बात ये है कि I don't know why, and this puzzles me every time, that members of this alliance, of the NDA, keep casting aspersions on what is called left-oriented views. I simply cannot understand it. To espouse the cause of social and economic equity, if that's some kind of a slur, if that's something that is to be discredited and numbers and figures given by a bunch of people who want some kind of social equity and economic justice in this country is to be discredited, then we don't have a conversation at all. The other point is, I think Mr. Rajiv Ranjan forgets, and I'm coming to the point of employment, about the own chief minister and the statement he made a couple of days earlier in a rally. Today we saw an angry side of him where he was castigating some members of the rally. But कुछ दिन पहले माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी नीतीश बाबू ने कहा था कि बिहार में तो उद्योग आ ही नहीं सकते हैं, वो तो समुद्र है ही नहीं, उसके कारण समुद्र नहीं है तो उद्योग कैसे आएंगे. भाई अब it's a highly comical statement, but what it does, Tanvi, is betrays the kind of, it indicates to us where this government is going and what its policy towards employment is. Because obviously, in the last 15 years, the statistics that has come out of employment and industrial figures are way below even in those states in India which are landlocked. I don't want to go into statistics too much. You mentioned a lot of statistics and so did Naval Kishore ji. What I'm going to make are some important political points. This is indicative of the apathy that this government has had towards employment figures over the last 15 years. And one crucial figure has been left out. You mentioned how employment really rocketed to 46 in those exceptional few months, and now it's come down. It's still twice the national average. It's almost 12%. But we forget one important point. That is the number of youth who are unemployed in Bihar. The number of youth between the ages of, say, 18 and 30 in Bihar who are unemployed, according to some figures, is more than 30%. It could even be close to 40%. And that is a critical figure here, which will determine the course of the elections. Nitish Kumar ji came with a lot of promise. I mean, he was obviously elected thrice. He keeps staging his parties. He has no ideological fidelity. That's another point. But he's liked. I'm sure a lot of people must have bestowed their trust in him. But he has shown no way, he has shown no path to the future in terms of employment. We have made a promise. You asked us where these employment figures are going to come from, where these numbers are to be achieved. Now, one figure that is often said by the NDA and the JDU combined in the state is the figure that, you know, we've got good growth rate. Growth rate only tells you half the story, because growth rate only tells you how much capital the state has, what it's going to spend it on, whether it's debt servicing or expenditure or whatever. It doesn't tell you where it's going. But if the growth rate is good, and there is enough reason to believe that the growth rate will even be better in a Mahagathbandhan Sarkar, which is imminent, and growth creates jobs. And Naval Kishore ji enlisted a number of sectors where jobs could be created. There are already vacancies in jobs which will be fulfilled. So we are on the right track of giving employment and fulfilling our promises of the RJD and the JDU. The manifesto of the Congress was released today. And it also speaks about, in terms of socialism and social justice, about those who are unemployed, the allowances which can be given to them, which is 1,500 per month. And that is also a promise that which is in the manifesto.
Okay, they're also going to be giving allowances to those who are unemployed. Mr. Sudesh Verma, still your party is very skeptical of the promises being made by Congress or the Mahagathbandhan itself on jobs. Why is that?
You are aware, Tanvi, and most of the political scientists in this country know that Bihar is a politically very sensitive state, in the sense that, you know, every issue is debated on every nook and corner. You know, the land of Patliputra, the Magadhan Empire, you know, the kind of education they had, Nalanda University. So it has political consciousness, you know, and if you compare with other states, then you'll find that it's a debating society. And we have seen other states also. I'll give you an example of Gujarat when Narendra Modi ji was the chief minister. And that time the Congress came out with a scheme for giving houses to others. And they even got the names registered to the voters. But the voters did not support them. Voters are very smart. They know that the promises you are making, you would not be in a position to deliver. So they are not going to commit this mistake. When they go and vote, what primary consideration would be that before this NDA came to power, under the leadership of Nitish Kumar ji, you must know that Bihar was a lawless society. Kidnapping was the norm. That was the industry that was thriving. And Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav, now entire media knows, used to use those gundas inside the jail to give threat to people, extort money. And this was the state, after 6 o'clock in the evening, nobody could move on the street on Bihar. So law and order is an important indicator. If you want to bring industry, how will you bring industrialists would not come unless you can ensure safety and security to their life and existence. Now I'm coming to what are the benchmark for development for any state. In 2003, you remember that Digvijay Singh ji was voted out of power as Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh because we brought the agenda of Bijli, Sadak and Pani. If you want to rate on that, then Bihar is, superb now. Instead of 37% road, they have a network of 86% roads. And the roads are very good. Earlier, the norm used to be that people will, dig the road or create a breaker saying that, no, the cars should not move because this will lead to accident. This was a norm. Instead of, just maintaining the rule of the road. So now things have changed. So you have to understand that also. Drinking water facilities being given. You know that electricity indicators, it is 100% now. So if you want to gauge Bihar on the issue of development, then Bihar is doing splendid. 10 lakh employment, I was making a rough calculation, government jobs, if the government gives, take an average of 30,000 rupees per month for an average government employee, then you know how much it comes to? It comes to 3,000 crore per month, 36,000 crore per year. From where will you get the money? Are you fooling the people of Bihar? If you invest that much in creating infrastructure, then people will themselves create jobs. And that is what our credo is, that is what our ideology is, that make those infrastructure suiting the state so that people come and thrive themselves. And migrant issues, migrant labor issues have taught us.
Why is it?
Yes, please.
Right, but why is it then, Mr. Sudesh Verma, that youngsters are still leaving the state? Why is it that it still has the highest number of youngsters leaving the state in search for jobs? मतलब वो केरला तक पहुंच गए हैं, तेलंगाना चले गए हैं, वहाँ पे भी उनको 1200-1500 per day मिल रहा है. Why is it that they're leaving the state and going? If you are focusing on creating jobs via infrastructure in the state.
That if you don't get, people from Haryana, Punjab,
Mr. Sudesh Verma, I'm unable to hear you. Yes, now we got it back.
Yeah. So if you go for better employment opportunities because you're better skilled, you go for skilling, then that's a different issue. Then coming to migrant issues, migrant laborers issue, now we have learned that migrant laborers issue must be addressed in such a way that their talent, their skill is used in Bihar itself. The crisis that happened in Mumbai and other parts, now migrant laborers have understood that. And it's the COVID time. So give government time, and after that definitely is going to become much better. The central government under leadership of Prime Minister Modi ji has brought laws that will ensure safety and security of migrant laborers anywhere. So condition is going to become much better. So when the card is going well, when development parameters are going well, there are no reasons to upturn the card.
Okay, let me ask Sarika Kumari to respond to this. Sarika Kumari, the argument from the other side is if people are leaving the state and going, it could also be in search of a better skilled job. Not that we aren't creating jobs.
तानवी, मैं पूछना चाहूंगी हमारे एनडीए के जो दोनों अलायंस पार्टीज के जो स्पोक पर्सन है यहाँ पे, मैं उनसे पूछना चाहूंगी कि हमारी बिहार की जो है वो प्रति व्यक्ति आय क्या है? क्या ये जानते हैं कि नीति आयोग ने रिपोर्ट दी है कि बिहार जो है ना हर स्टेप पे जो है ना सबसे निचले पायदान पे है, और अगर किसी राज्य की प्रति व्यक्ति आय जो कम होती है वो जाहिर सी बात है वो तब होती है जब वहां पे बेरोजगारी होती है, वहां पे रोजगार के कोई साधन नहीं होते हैं, और ये मैं इन दोनों से ये भी पूछना चाहती हूँ, ये बार-बार आके बोलते हैं उपलब्धियां अपने गिना रहे हैं बिजली पे, सड़कों पे। मैं इनसे बिजली पे ये भी पूछना चाहती हूँ कि इन्होंने बिहार को इन 15 सालों में कितने पावर प्लांट दिए? और अगर उन्होंने सड़कें दी, तो मैं ये भी सड़कों पे पूछना चाहती हूँ कितने उन्होंने सरकारी बसें उन पे चलाई, जिससे कि बिहार की जो गरीब जनता है, जो नॉर्मल पीपल है, वो उनकी उनकी सुविधाएं हो सके, कितनी चलाई? हमने देखा है कि कोविड के टाइम में क्या रही है स्थिति, कितने हमारे नीतीश कुमार जी इनसेंसिटिव उनका बिहेवियर रहा है बिहार की जनता के लिए, कि हजार-हजार किलोमीटर लोग पैदल चलते हुए आए हैं, इन्होंने उनके लिए कोई फैसिलिटी नहीं दी। मैं ये भी पूछना चाहती हूँ इनसे कि ये जो बार-बार ये कह रहे हैं कि लाइक 15 साल पिछले और 15 साल बनाम, लाइक 15 ईयर टू 15 इयर्स के ये जो कर रहे हैं, आपको 15 साल गवर्नमेंट में टाइम मिला, आप पिछले 15 सालों से आप सरकार में हैं, बावजूद इसके क्या कारण, क्या कमियां रह गई कि आपको 15 साल कम पड़ गए? आपने क्यों नहीं उन सारे लूप फॉल्स को दूर किया? क्यों नहीं आपने उन सारे कमियों को दूर किया? आपने क्यों इंडस्ट्री लगाई? आज आपके उप मुख्यमंत्री कहते हैं कि भाई हमारे जो बिहार के जो पलायन करने वाले लोग हैं, युवा है, वो इसलिए बाहर जा रहे हैं क्योंकि वो मौज मस्ती चाहते हैं। ये बहुत ही इनसेंसिटिव रिप्लाई हुआ एक उप मुख्यमंत्री की तरफ से। हमारे मुख्यमंत्री कहते हैं यहाँ पे उद्योग और धंधे इसलिए नहीं लग सके क्योंकि यहाँ पे समुंदर नहीं है, नदियां नहीं है। भाई क्या है ये? आज आप हमें बोल रहे हैं कि पिछले 15 सालों से यहाँ जंगल राज था। आप पिछले 15 सालों से आप क्राइम ग्राफ देखें, अगर मैं बात करूं यहाँ पे एनसीआरबी की रिपोर्ट की, तो ऑलमोस्ट हर क्राइम में, चाहे वो डकैती हो, चोरी हो, लूट हो, बलात्कार हो, सभी में जो ग्रोथ है ना, वो 25% टू 30% इंप्रूवमेंट हुई है। कहीं भी आपने कंट्रोल नहीं कर पाया है। तो आप एक तरह से कह लीजिए आपने एम्प्लॉयमेंट पे भी आपने कुछ नहीं किया, यू आर फेल ऑन दैट। आप अगर लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की बात करते हैं तो वहां भी मैं आपको बोलती हूँ यू आर फेल ऑन दैट। अगर मैं बोलूं और आप बिजली एंड ऑल सड़कें एंड ऑल, वहां भी ऑलमोस्ट आप फेल हैं क्योंकि आपने कुछ किया नहीं है। आपकी अपनी खुद की कोई यहाँ पे 15 साल की अचीवमेंट नहीं दिखती है। आप बौखलाए हुए हैं। अगर हम आज 10 लाख नौकरियों की बात करते हैं, हम बात कर रहे हैं, तो आप उससे ही डर गए क्योंकि 15 साल का मौका ऑलरेडी आपको दिया गया, आपने उसमें कुछ किया नहीं। बट एक्चुअली वो सब यहाँ है, बस करने की हिम्मत रखनी चाहिए थी आपकी, लेकिन आपने वो नहीं किया। तो आज हमारे वादे से आप घबरा रहे हैं। हम तो 5 साल का मौका चाह रहे हैं, देख लीजिएगा। 5 साल में नहीं हुआ तो जनता बड़ी सयानी हो चुकी है। अभी बिहार की जनता को पता है कि उनकी क्या जरूरत है। अभी इस कमिंग इलेक्शन की अगर हम बात करें तो हमारे लगभग 25 यंग जो नए जो है वोटर्स, वो जो फर्स्ट टाइम अपने लाइफ में वो वोट करेंगे, दे ऑल आर यूथ, और उनकी सबसे बड़ी जो जरूरत है वो है रोजगार, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट, जो सबसे बड़ी उनकी जरूरत है। और यही हम दूर करने के लिए चाहते हैं। और जिसको सुनकर के ये बौखला से गए हैं, इन्हें समझ में आ रहा है हवाई है, आकाशवाणी है, बट नहीं, एक्चुअली हम ट्रुथ की बातें कर रहे हैं, धरातल की बातें कर रहे हैं। ये सारी चीजें जो हैं बहुत लोगों से, जो कहते हैं बुद्धिजीवियों से बात करके, विचार विमर्श करके हम लोगों ने ये सारा चीजें तैयार किया है। ब्लूप्रिंट है इनफैक्ट कि हम ये 10 लाख नौकरियां कैसे देंगे। लेकिन जो चीजें इन्हें करनी चाहिए थी वो तो कर नहीं सके। तो अब उन्हें समझ में आ रहा है। तो अब ये नए तरह की चीजें निकाल के बाहर ला रहे हैं कि 15 साल में ये था तो 15 साल में वो था। बट एक्चुअली इन्होंने अपने 15 सालों में क्या किया? इनके पास खुद का कोई भी जो है ना अचीवमेंट नहीं है जो वो आज लोगों के सामने ले जाकर के रख सके।
Mr. Sudesh Verma, do you want to respond to that?
I want to respond. You see, the test of the pudding is in eating, we always say. And people are really scared. All these arguments won't hold ground because, the kind of list which Rajiv Ranjanji has shown. Because we have a lot of things to show as achievement, And if you deliver and if you're honest, I'm telling you that these things don't work. Because when it suits you, you bring down the growth figure. When it doesn't suit you, you say that growth has got no parameter. So, do you know the population of Bihar is 12.5 crores? Even if you give 10 lakh government permanent job, who will be the beneficiary? Only the educated people, because the migrant laborers who may not be that educated, they would not get the job, they would not get that kind of security. So you still have to go for Manrega, which our government is also doing. And we'll expand. We are giving them security, which never happened before. So you must try to, judge us on the parameter of that. And people of Bihar trust Mr. Nitish Kumar. And when you have such a trusted leader, yes, it has been doing fine. And when you go to Bihar, the bridges are shortening distances. Of course, public transport is an issue that will also be tackled. But the issue is that Bihar economy suffers because it doesn't have a great budgetary support. But you see what the central government has done. It has added 2 lakh crore more to the budgetary support. So naturally development will take place. And what you are seeing now is the optical illusion due to COVID time. So it's not the right way, and people of Bihar know that this government is doing fantastic job.
Exactly, Bihar.
I want to just
knows.
go across to Professor Chaudhary on that. Professor Chaudhary, do you want to come in on what BJP and JDU are saying about their track record? Essentially, JDU is also adding to this by saying that we've fixed law and order, we've built infrastructure, we've taken care of providing support to the poor, and then now we are looking at creating more jobs.
The truth lies in between. I initially told you that the RJD Supremo, Lalu Prasad Yadav ji, who is my contemporary, a year junior to me in the university, used to say, economic development is not my agenda. My agenda is social justice, as clearly as it could be possible. I told him in 1996, when I was sharing dais with Lalu ji, that you now have to focus on economic development also. You have to focus on governance. You have to focus in law and order. Unfortunately, Laluji didn't attach the importance which it deserved. The outcome was that he outlived his utility in next 15 years, 10 years, total 15 years. And Nitish ji came with a bang on the plank of good governance, law and order to start with, and economic development. I delivered on it. Nobody can dispute that Nitish provided a better governance. Law and order improved sharply. Later on, it tapered off, and then finally started declining. But even the drops in terms of law and order and governance of Nitish's government, which is lower as compared to the initial phase, is higher than what it was achieved during RJD rule. RJD should never forget it. But important thing is not that Nitish didn't achieve anything. And why Nitish ji? It's not nobody's point that Congress didn't. If you compare it with the British Raj, Congress achieved it. Did it mean that things did not need to be better? So point is not that Nitish achieved a lot on the question of power, electricity, road, initially this medical care. But that's not the point. Point is, what is the potential for Bihar? How far should we have gone? How this performance compares with the promises made by Nitish Kumar. And there you find that there is a deficit. And that's what I am pointing out. And now Nitish could have achieved much better in terms of development, in terms of governance. I refer you to a FICCI report which highlights that 90% of industries said that officials' attitude to develop industrialization is negative. Now, these are matters of record.
Okay.
Is it not a fact that the sectoral transformation, and I'm referring to Honorable Modi ji, Sushil Modi ji, I'm talking. Once I was sharing dais with Deputy Chief Minister Modi and Nitish Kumar some 10 years back, and he boasted that the contribution of primary sector, which is largely agriculture, is declining. And therefore, it's an index of development. I said 76% of people depend on agriculture. 89% is rural. And it's true that it's a fall sectoral. But what about the population? Did you shift population from agriculture to non-agricultural sector? What happened to agro-industries? Now, if you don't do this, then rural sector is sinking in relative terms. And coming to Rajiv Ji, nobody is saying that Nitish didn't. And you're going a leftist. I don't want to end with this personal reference. Now, has Nitish Kumar ceased to be a leftist? Has he ceased to be a leftist? He claims to be a socialist. What kind of socialism it is? When the Jayaprabha Hospital
Okay, Professor Chaudhary, if I may just come in here because I don't want to derail from the key focus which is about the jobs today. So I apologize for coming in right now.
10 seconds.
Yes.
Now, how long shall we say freight equalization? How long will we blame colonization? We have been in power. This government is in power for last 15 years. What happened to common school system? What happened to Land Reforms Commission? Why teachers are not being recruited in schools and paid full salary? Why posts are vacant in the nursing sector? The medical staff, medical care has collapsed. You could have done it, very easily done it. The government is so incapable. That economic survey which Tanvi you were referring used to be produced by Finance Department. This government cannot produce even an economic survey on its own. On its own, and data are suspect, and with the low base and suspect data, you find the kind of, you said that Palayan has stopped, migration has stopped. What happened? IIPA report which the government of Nitish Kumar got prepared, which said that migration is stopped. This is largely distress migration. It's not a migration, Suresh ji, which is for better opportunities. It's more than 90% is distress migration. People migrate.
Is not. It can't be that they are going in for better opportunities. They are having to move there, Professor Chaudhary, because there are no opportunities in Bihar. And I think nobody can be fooled by saying the choice. And people are making this choice to travel all the way to Maharashtra, travel all the way to Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, simply because there are better opportunities. It's also because there are lack of opportunities. Lakhs of these people in the state of Bihar who are having to move are also from farmer families which are landless. They don't have any land holdings of their own. They don't have job options of their own. They don't have options of education in the state of Bihar. So there is no option but to move away. Ayushman spoke to many of these migrants in Bihar who said that they went away for job, they came back, and that now they again are moving back to the other states, because they haven't been able to find anything to do in Bihar. How long can they really depend on a few odd days that they get out of Manrega? How long can they depend on any kind of social welfare scheme that the government, central government of the state announces? They need to ways and means to earn their livelihood, to have a life, to sustain their family. And for that, for years together, it's not a new thing, for years together, they've had to move out of the state of Bihar into other states. Obviously, in this year, the problem has become aggravated because of the COVID and the lockdown crisis. So will jobs be number one agenda? It definitely seems so right now. Will the people of Bihar keep this in mind when they finally cast their vote? Well, it really depends on what details we find in the promises that are being made by various parties. Obviously, it's going to be a bigger challenge for Nitish Kumar because he has a 15-year record that people will be looking at. And that makes it slightly easier for Tejaswi, provided this is the biggest issue that people vote on. Thank you to our panelists for joining us on this conversation.